A Christmas Surprise is a pretty good film. It took me maybe 20 minutes or so to get into it, but once it got going, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. This was released in 2020. It's directed by Terri J. Vaughn, written by Chad Quinn, and this is a story of a woman who takes her, well, boyfriend to meet her mother. She's meeting him for the first time. I didn't love that initial interaction, I'll be honest. That's one of the reasons why it took me a while to get into it. I didn't love how her mother was behaving. And then they reveal that they're actually engaged. They're getting married. She's getting married to somebody her mother hasn't even met. And her mother has a bit of an issue with this. And then his mother arrives, and it's basically about the two families trying to get on in the holiday season, while they're also, of course, talking about this wedding that I guess has come out of nowhere. And I think the actual specifics of the narrative are maybe not that interesting. The events in the film are okay. I wouldn't say they're boring necessarily, but they're not that fun. They're not that fascinating. It's definitely very character driven, but I will say I don't like a few of the characters. And I wouldn't say I hated any of them either. I'm kind of on the fence with whether I didn't like them or I just didn't care for them. I think there were times when it was maybe a little bit of both. So there were things in this that just didn't work that well for me. But at the same time, I would say, as a whole, I thought it was an okay film. The pacing is not too bad. I think everything happens at a good rate. The characters are introduced at a nice pace, and sure, the events may not be the most interesting, but things develop at a pretty steady rate. In terms of the Christmas aspect, we do have some gorgeous decorations and things, so it has a nice, cozy Christmas feel, but it's not over the top. I love over the top Christmas films, but not everybody does, so this certainly might be to some people's tastes more than it is to mine. Honestly, it's absolutely fine. Yes, it took about 20 minutes, maybe a little longer to get into it, but once it got going, I thought it was an okay story with some interesting characters, really good performances, even if I didn't love all of the characters. The performances were very strong. And in general, I came away from it feeling pretty happy. It wasn't the most amazing experience, but I didn't mind it. A Christmas Surprise is an okay film. If you're looking for something that's quite easy to watch, that's not going to annoy you, there's nothing about it that's irritating, nobody's performance was bad, the lighting and camera work and everything, absolutely fine. In fact, the lighting's very good. I'm a big fan of very bright Christmas films, and everything is very brightly lit, which I really, really love. So there are some good parts to it. And in general, there are no bad parts, really. So I'm happy enough to recommend it. Not perfect, but in general, I'd say A Christmas Surprise is a pretty okay film.